Hi, everyone. We're just waiting for a couple more attendees join in. We will start the webinar at around 3 or just after 3. Just bear with us for another 2 or 3 minutes while we let the other attendees join in, and we will start the webinar shortly.
Hello, Pak Syahrial. Nice to see you here.
We'll start the webinar in around a minute or 2. Meanwhile, if you want to get a coffee or there is a Q&A section at the bottom. Feel free to ask us any questions as we go on along the webinar, and we will cover the questions at the end of the webinar as well. So we'll just start shortly in around another minute or 2. Just let the other attendees hop in. Okay, I think we can make a start in our webinar today. Thank you everyone for joining. Georgina, our partner from Indonesia, from Internegri Migration, will do the introductions, and then we will proceed towards the webinar. The webinar is in 3 sections. One talking about the benefits of the Portugal Golden Visa, and some of the rules of the Golden Visa, and also some of the changes that are going to happen. And then we'll also cover about Portugal, and then we will go in to look at some of the investments which qualify for the Golden Visa, for the Portugal Golden Visa. So Georgina, to you to do the introductions and the welcome address.
Selamat siang, Bapak Ibu. Good afternoon. It's too formal with ladies and gentlemen. So good afternoon, friends. Today we have a Portugal Golden Visa webinar. It's a residency by investment program. So I would like to, my name is Georgina Mike. I'm in Jakarta. I'm a migration consultant based in Jakarta, and today our partner is Judith LEOW, the director of IPS Real Estate Malaysia, and Jaime Gooi. Jaime is a Portugal Golden Visa holder, and she's representing Avco Legal. She's doing the legal, any documents will go through her. She's in Kuala Lumpur as well, and we have our immigration lawyer here, Antonio Viñal Jr. He's a senior partner of Avco Legal Portugal, and he's based in Lisbon. So here's our partners, IPS and Avco Legal. And a little bit about me. Other than Portugal Golden Visa, I do Spain Golden Visa, Cyprus, Greece, and also US for EB5 and EB3. EB5 is for is by investment, and EB3 is for workers. And also Canada business migration, skilled workers, and also startup visa. And I also do the Australia business migration and also New Zealand. Here's my contact details. But I think most of you, I've already sent emails, send a WhatsApp to I think almost all of you. And so this is my contact details, and you can contact me after this, or I will also do a follow-up to all of you. Just I think I've already checked that I've already got all your details. Okay, that's all from me. Judith, please proceed. Thank you.
Okay, great. So Georgina's done most of the introductions of today. I just wanted to kind of recap on your team of people who will be serving you throughout the process of the Golden Visa. So we look after your investments, or whether you choose a fund or a property. So we would recommend you an investment which suits your portfolio. And I must say that we have taken about 80 clients through the Portugal Golden Visa process. We have a 100% success rate. And also the investments, our clients tend to be very happy in, whether it is a property or a fund. It does, it has a yield. And the properties are actually great. They're charming. Most of them are in the historical area of Lisbon, Porto, or in the interior. And they all seem to, due to the positive effects of the economy, even for the Golden Visa or the tax schemes, have been positive yielding and also a positive capital appreciation. Avco Legal manage your conveyancing and legal work for the Golden Visa application as well. And then often we work with a developer. In this case, we will be introducing several developments by several different developers. So I'll hand over to Jaime. Jaime has a Portugal Golden Visa, and she will be talking about her story and her journey into the Portugal Golden Visa process as well.
Thank you, Judith. Selamat tengah hari. Thank you so much for joining us. Terima kasih for joining us for this afternoon. I'm actually in my 4th year of Portuguese Golden Visa. Basically, a few years ago, my husband and I were looking for a good investment and a residency option that will require the least from us in terms of residency requirements. So what we did was basically we did several research, and we were comparing the different residency programs in Europe. And we found amongst all the residency programs, in terms of the stay requirements, and also in order to even maintain the PR or citizenship, actually Portugal has the least number of requirements. And that's why we also we finally decided to embark on the Portuguese Golden Visa program. The program of a Portuguese Golden Visa is not an immediate PR or citizenship. It is a residency by investment program, which you will get actually a temporary residency, which will entitle you to this Schengen card itself. And this Schengen card that you see here, it's something that you will get when you apply for the Golden Visa, which will allow you basically to access Europe quite easily as well. I found that the program was also very beneficial in terms of my family, because I can actually reunify up to 3 generations of my family. But most importantly, in terms of the price of the investment, it starts from 280,000 euros only, depending on which investment category that you want to invest in. But the lowest threshold is actually only from 280,000 euros. The second thing is, in terms of residency requirements to stay, it's only on average about 7 days per year. So which is good, because we are not really intending to relocate, but we wanted to have an option or a plan B if the need arises. And the other thing is also in terms of the processing time. Once you've made a decision on your residency, you can actually get your card issued out quite quickly within a few months. And also you can reunify, as I mentioned, up to 3 generations of your family with only 1 single investment. And most importantly, what I like about the Portugal Golden Visa is that it immediately allows us to access the healthcare. As a temporary resident, you will enjoy the same benefits as a PR or a citizen in terms of the healthcare benefits. You can live indefinitely if you want to in Portugal, or you can also stay 90 or 180 days in any parts of the Schengen countries. And of course, also access the education system, which many clients during the COVID-19 situation has considered to actually relocate because they feel with all the lockdowns in our countries, I think in Malaysia and Indonesia as well, they wanted, a lot of people are considering to maybe just move away for a few years and then maybe later on to come back again when the situation settles. So that's also something that that one can actually consider, and the golden visa will assist. Now, in terms of what I like about the residency is that it allows us to access the European countries. It's through the routes of the PR or citizenship. Through PR, you basically enjoy the same benefits. You still get to travel and stay 180 days, 90 or 180 days when you travel to Europe. And you also get to live and work indefinitely or study in Portugal, or and even free from the high school education and below. In terms of the citizenship, should you choose citizenship, it will allow you then to live for unlimited number of days in any of the European countries. You can work in any of the European countries, and without needing actually a work permit, you can actually work across the borders, and you can also live for unlimited periods of time in the European countries. And I think the good news about the program is that the Portuguese Golden Visa is very flexible. You don't need to make a decision right now that you have to be a PR or citizen. In fact, even for myself, I would say I'm still considering which option and which route I will actually take. So I'm currently in my 4th year, and I still have 2 years to consider, which is wonderful because you have the option to just continue the Golden Visa if you want to, or to do the permanent residency or choose citizenship. Or the 4th criteria is to choose permanent residency. And then later on, if you feel like you want to live more permanently in Europe, then you can actually change it to citizenship as well later. So that's the beauty about the program. And also with the PR citizenship, unlike some other programs that will insist that you keep the investment in the country, you can actually sell off your investments after you achieve the PR citizenship in Portugal. So these are just some of the lists of how and why I made a decision to embark on the program, because I also wanted the option whether during the process of the higher education universities to allow my children to even get some of the free education in some of these countries, or alternatively, I also wanted to allow them to actually work in any of these countries. So this way, if they are good in certain things, I think as parents, it's important that we allow them to explore their potential, their fullest potential, and not limit their potential because we don't have that kind of work opportunities in our country. So because of that, I think the program is excellent. And more importantly, not only for our children, but we can also be with our children, because I think during this pandemic, a lot of people sometimes are separated from each other because some of them, the kids are on student visa, but then we don't have that visa to travel and be with our child. So I think by having this residency, all of us can be together through the residency program, and it allows us to really be able to be with each other during this period of time. And should you actually consider the citizenship option, what is wonderful is that Portugal is actually more or less the 5th most powerful passport in terms of ranking, because it allows you to access 186 countries visa free. So for us, we no longer need to apply for, let's say, a US visa or a Canadian visa to travel and go through all the interviews. With a Portuguese passport, we can actually visit these countries visas free, which is then very convenient in totality. Last but not least, of course, I made the decision to also go ahead because I was also very comfortable with Avco Legal Services, Antonio Viñal, and basically Antonio is my lawyer and has handled my investments and still taking care of my investments. And I highly recommend that our clients will go through this journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith, for your Jaime, sorry, for your very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Antonio. I represent Avco Legal, and I will be walking you through the characteristics and the requirements of the Portuguese Golden Visa program, and as well as some of the great advantages it has to offer. This being a residency by investment program, you need to perform a certain investment and maintain that investment for at least 5 years. You must keep a clean criminal record, of course, before and during this time. And the minimum stay requirements are very easy to comply with because we're looking at a 14-day stay in Portugal in every 2-year period. You will be getting 3 cards overall, 2 years validity for each card, 14 days during each card. Of course, in terms of moving on later to citizenship or permanent residency, as Jaime noted, you only need to fulfill 5 years. In terms of the types of investment which are eligible, the most popular ones are related to the purchase of real estate. You can see in the middle, within the real estate option, you can purchase 1 or more pieces of real estate. It could be land, it could be a house, it could be an apartment, as long as the combined value is 500,000 euro. Or there's a lower threshold of 350,000 euro if the investment is performed in an apartment, a house, whatever it is, that is more than 30 years old or located in an urban renewal area as defined by the urban rehabilitation area as defined by the council. And the cost of the property plus the cost of said rehabilitation must reach 350,000 euro. Then if we are looking into the interior parts of Portugal, the areas which are less populated, then that threshold falls down to 280,000. And this is the current situation. Moving forward from 2022, January 1st, 2022, there will be slight changes in the program, and residential property in the more populated areas such as Lisbon, Porto, the coast, etc., these will not be eligible. You can still buy retail, commercial property in these areas, but not the residential ones. So starting from 2022, if you want to look at residential property, we would have to look at the interior of Portugal. Yes, moving on. One of the great features, great advantages of the Portuguese Golden Visa program is the ability to reunify up to 3 generations of family members, and this includes the spouse or unmarried partner, if that's the case, children under 18, but also children above 18 if they are financially dependent, meaning that they are single and still studying, and also parents if they are dependent on the main applicant as well. If they're above 65, then it's rather easy to show. If they're below 65, well, we would need the harder proof of that financial dependency. Now, in terms of citizenship requirements, and that only kicks in after you have completed your 5 years, there's just a very simple Portuguese language test, very basic level of Portuguese. And then you also, of course, need to keep that clean criminal record. So after 5 years, you have that option to proceed. In terms of the timeline, everything would kick off with a tax number. The tax number is relevant for several reasons: opening the bank account, purchasing the property, the golden visa process itself. So the tax number is where it all starts. That would allow us to open a bank account for you. Then once it's open, you transfer your funds into Portugal, you select your investment. Once the investment has been performed, then yes, we can prepare and submit your application. We get a preliminary approval because that first phase is done online. You do not need to travel. Once you have been pre-approved, then we move on to the next phase, which is when you travel to Portugal, we collect, or immigration collects, the biometric data for you, and we resubmit the file at that point. And that is repeated after year 2 and after year 4. So yes, as you can see, there are 3 cards, as mentioned earlier, 2 years each card. The processing fee is €533, and the initial card is 5,300. Cards number 2 and number 3, processing fee is exactly the same, 533. The cost of these cards, number 2 and number 3, is half, so 2,600. Okay, so it comes to about €12,000 over the 5 years with the 3 cards. In terms of taxes, which is always an important issue, if you are buying property, if your entry point is purchase of property, then there will be transfer tax. Transfer tax is on a sliding scale. And then there's stamp duty, which is fixed at 0.8%. Then we have the annual costs. If you buy property, again, you will have council tax or property tax, which is calculated not on the market price of the property, but on the lower taxable value of the property. And that will range between 0.3 and 0.45%, depending on where your property is located. Another good thing about the Portuguese Golden Visa program is that, well, of course, the property is under your name and you may lease it and make money on your investment. So if you go for long-term rental, you will be charged 28% on as a non-resident. And if you decide to go on short-term rental income, the cost will be 8.75, 12.5%, depending on what we're looking at, depending on where the property is located in. So all in all, it's a very good proposition because you get a property which is freehold, which you can sell later on to anyone, local or foreign. There is no wealth tax, there is no inheritance tax, and there's also a very low rate when it comes to short-term rental income. So it all makes sense. It's a great package: immigration, property, and investment, all rolled into one. And that's all for me right now. Thank you very much. And I will pass on the baton to Judith. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about Portugal. It is actually on the west side of Spain, and it is the size of West Malaysia. Population is 10.5 million people. Portuguese is actually the 5th most spoken language in the world, and capital is Lisbon. English is widely spoken. There's low cost of living and temperate Mediterranean. In terms of the economy, actually, they are at the forefront now of being like the Silicon Valley of Europe. Things like engineering is very strong there. Electronic vehicles, they are at the forefront of that. They are one of the main manufacturers of the whole of the European economy. So we would say that actually Portugal has a lot of good going for them, and we are very positive with the outlook on the economy. And there's lots of reports on like the Ernst & Young and PwC producing reports on foreign direct investment and the growth of foreign direct investment as well in Portugal. If you like those reports, contact one of us and we'll send those reports to you. It's actually very impressive in terms of its overall rankings. It's the 3rd safest country in the world after Iceland and New Zealand. And Iceland, all that is ice. New Zealand, sheep outnumber people 7-1. So for a country with people, it's actually a very safe country. It's the best, #1 best travel destination in Europe at the moment. If you like road travel, it's also ranked like the top 3rd in road travel in Europe. It has one of the most powerful passports, the 5th most powerful passport in the world, 186 countries without a visa. It is one of the top democracies in the world as well. And its healthcare system ranks very high. And they're very proud of their life expectancy. It has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. Cost of living is low. It ranks, Lisbon itself ranks 134. If you get a meal of like a pasta or a seafood dinner with a glass of wine, it will cost probably around 7 euros as an average cost. And if you pay 15 euros, it would be a very good restaurant, almost like a Michelin star restaurant. It's also extraordinary. It's ranked as one of the best countries for Americans to retire to, and that's because of the great weather, the low cost of living, and also some of the tax benefits along with this country as well. So it's ranked the best, actually, 2020 retirement destination. It's also one of the top expat destination. It ranks 3rd after Taiwan and Vietnam. Yeah, so it's got a lot of good things going for it, great lifestyle. In terms of education, I would say approximately half of our clients are looking into the Portugal Golden Visa and Portugal Residency for education, because there's a lot of cost-effective ways of saving on education with regards with this Golden Visa. Portugal itself, of course, it opens up Europe, but Portugal itself is ranked 35th in the QS World University rankings, and it also has one of the best MBAs, the 6th best MBA program in the world. Portugal, the English language as well is very easy to get around in Portugal with English. The train systems have a dual language, and I've never actually experienced anyone that we deal with who can't speak English really well. For example, Antonio speaks English very well, and we've been dealing with Portuguese for about 4 years now, and somehow everyone speaks fluent, really impressively fluent American English. Portugal as a technology hub as well, it's ranking very highly. It's almost like the Silicon Valley of Europe. Google, Amazon, Volkswagen, and Mercedes, the technology divisions researching electronic vehicles are in Portugal. Vestas, the turbine company. In fact, almost half of Portugal's electricity is now produced by turbine and solar. So they're actually quite at the forefront of technology. There's a web summit that happens every year, and that's very, very popular. It's also ranked #1 in terms of emerging trends in European real estate in 2019. Lisbon ranked the 1st as compared to Berlin, Dublin, and Madrid, Frankfurt, Amsterdam. Okay, so these are some of the investments which qualify for the Golden Visa. If you intend to invest in funds, I'll cover funds in blue first. It is euro 350,000 in funds. We have some 20 funds for you to pick from, and the minimum investment is actually going up from 350,000 to 500,000 at the end of the year. As Antonio mentioned, this is probably one of the easiest ways to invest. It's quite straightforward and direct. Actually, lately we have had some clients who have requested just for funds. And in terms of real estate, 95% though of everyone, and I would say that that reflects our clients too. 95% of our clients have invested in real estate. We have done 80 and more than 90 real estates because some of our clients have bought 2. And we, as we mentioned earlier, we have 100% success rate. And in terms of real estate, if you invest in anything, it is 500,000. And if it's going to in Lisbon and outside of Lisbon and Porto and the main part of Algarve, we call it the interior, it's 400,000 if you invest in anything. Say if you invest in a farm, the minimum investment is 400,000. If you are going to find a property which is old and dilapidated and in the urban rehabilitation area, hasn't been renovated for 30 years, and are going to renovate it, then that criteria drops to 350,000 in Lisbon, Porto, and the coastal cities, the parts of Algarve as well. And also in the interior, then it's 280,000. These are some very popular options. We have some packages for you under the 280 and 350,000, and I'll be going through some of that. Now, if you intend to invest in Lisbon and Porto, which is a great idea still, because many people are moving to Lisbon and Porto for the retirement, for the tax residency schemes, and for, of course, general growth in population. It actually makes sense still as an investment, and the property outlook has been growing. Property prices have been growing by about 7% per year. Now, these are some of the funds. We have some 20 funds for you to choose from. It is consultative. Your intended investment is consultative, and we can take you through, but these are some of the things we look at in terms of the funds that we have ourselves picked. Strategy, diversification, amount to be raised, fees. If it's real estate, we look at diversification too, returns, exit strategy, what are the investor profile, and of course the timing and life cycle of the fund and the fund manager themselves. So we can actually take you through this to pick your intended fund, depending on your risk portfolio, on your fund portfolio, on what you understand. We'll be able to pick a fund that you will like actually out of the 20 funds. Most pick property though. So in Lisbon itself, we actually look very carefully at the valuations of property to make sure that the property that you pick is still valued fairly, because obviously even with the Golden Visa, some of the properties are overvalued, and we don't generally pick that. We want to do real due diligence on the property to make sure that the property generates you a yield, a fair yield, and also capital appreciation at the end of your Golden Visa. We base a lot of our decisions as well on the properties that we pick on the transportation system. Lisbonites, just like Londonites, don't drive, so don't have a car generally, and so the transportation system, the metro system, is very, very important. Being within walking distance to, say, amenities like a market, a supermarket, is also very, very important. So one of these properties that we really like is called Ourique. It's in Campo de Ourique, Lisbon. It is one of our fastest selling properties so far, but there's still some beautiful units. It's actually opposite Amoreiras, the shopping center, and just walkable distance to Avenida Liberdade, which is basically their Orchard Road or their main high street. And that's, yeah, it's just within walking distance of the street. And of course, in the middle, it has also the famous hotels like Four Seasons, Intercontinental. So within 20 minutes walk, you have also Amoreiras Shopping Center, which is the largest shopping center, which is also CBD2, where Mackenzie, Hitachi, Accenture, Apple, the electricity company, has their main offices in. So, and also within 20 minutes walk into the city. So this is Lisbon looking north to south. And looking towards the river. That's the property over there, and nearby is international schools. It's walkable distance to the river, and around this area as well, where Príncipe Real and Estrella is. This is the like in Malaysia, the Yutan area, the embassy area. So it's got lots of things going for it, and we like this property in terms of its yield and potential capital appreciation, because the whole the train line is being extended as well in this area. So there'll be a train station underneath Amoreiras, and also a train station just about 4 minutes walk from the property when the train line is extended. Grassa is really great as well. So there is this property over here. It's a rehabilitation with beautiful views of where the boat docks in. This one also is a good investment. The area is going through really nice regentrification. Properties are still valued quite reasonable, and there looks like there will be good chance of capital appreciation. It's only something like 15 minutes walk to Praca Commercial, where the most expensive real estate is in Lisbon, called Chiado. So so it looks like it has lots of things going for it as well. Also 20 minutes walk into Avenida Liberdade. So that's a beautiful property as well. There's actually two, one called Grassa and the other one called Veronica, also in a very similar location. Yeah, this one also has beautiful views of the boats coming in, and also the National Church. And these are under the 350,000 scheme. There's also another one, Patio de Barao. These properties are duplexes. They're also very pretty, and they're in a very nice regentrification of Lisbon as well, and also walkable distance, around half an hour walk to Avenida Liberdade, but very well connected via the metro as well. So this is another project which has been selling very well, and also in an area where there's lots of regentrification and lots happening here as well. So, so those are some of the projects under the 350,000 scheme, meaning you actually sign 2 contracts, one to buy the property, the other one for renovation, and thus you only have to spend a total of 350,000 in Lisbon. Some ready properties we have are this one, like Royal 20. This is just completed. There are 3 units available here. Príncipe Real is named the coolest neighborhood to live in the world, actually one of the coolest neighborhoods to live in the world. Certainly one of the coolest neighborhoods to live in Lisbon. And so, yeah, so it's just again, within 20 minutes walk into Avenida Liberdade, within like 5 minutes walk from the Time Out Market. And within Príncipe Real is within also all the embassies as well around the area. So, and also very near walk towards the riverside. So this is Royal 20. It's under the 500,000 scheme because it's almost complete. We have some almost completed properties as well in Porto, if you want, also under the 500,000 scheme. This is also under the 500,000 scheme. This is very near the April the 25th bridge. It has beautiful views, and this is called LX 55, also just completed, and so also under the 500,000 scheme. If you like something which compares to very nicely to KL Central, which is a connectivity hub, there is this one, Arriero. This is this building over here. It was actually the traditional gateway into Lisbon, and so the building is very historical. That's the lovely thing about Lisbon. Everything we have sold so far, almost everything, are historical buildings, and they have a history to it, and you own it freehold. So this one is also under the 500,000 scheme, and you can get a 2-bedroom for 500,000, and you own it freehold. All of these properties you own freehold, and they are part of history. If you like commercial, commercial will still qualify for the Golden Visa next year, and we're certainly spotting a lot of clients are looking at commercial. Street commercial is the new trend, especially after this COVID. I think people are looking less at shopping centers and more at street commercial to do their business, to you know, whether it is a salon, a nail parlor, an accountant's office. I think nowadays people are looking for street retail as the alternative to shopping centers. It's more accessible, more open. And so these are street retail, is right next to the central bank, and so this one we feel will have a good positive yield, and will be all fully occupied most of the time, and also will have capital appreciation, and will still qualify for the Golden Visa next year. If you're looking for a house, we also have some houses for sale in this village called Palmela Village in Lisbon. This is near a golf resort, or it's in a golf resort actually, and there are some houses here. If you're looking for 280,000, this is one of the fastest selling projects under the 280,000. Is in Alcácer do Sal, just 1 hour drive out from Lisbon. It is the entrance into the Alentejo region, which is the agricultural region, and it's also the entrance into the beach, which is Comporta and also Setúbal. And so it is an area where we find that will generate good rental yield, particularly if you like to Airbnb your property, because it's also a holiday destination. In Evora, we also have some units available in a city called Evora, and that is also just 1 hour drive out from Lisbon. These properties are also very charming and within the city walls, within this city called the Museum City. We also have properties in Sagres, in Algarve as well, which is also selling very well. And we also have properties with guaranteed buyback and guaranteed income in Lagos. We actually have 2 in Lagos, Algarve as well. So we have a platter of investments, whether you like a house, an apartment in the urban rehabilitation area, which I must say has been 80% of what we've sold, or a beach resort. We do have investments that are available for you. These are investments that are handpicked by us in terms of what we feel will have capital appreciation and will benefit you in general as a investment for diversification of funds. And to us, to me anyway, and to all of us, the Golden Visa is a cherry on the pie. I'll just share this video of one of the properties that we have. The first one I showed, Auric Door, and it will show you a little bit about Lisbon and also the property and how it's being regenerated. So yeah, so just to cover some questions that we have, one moment, just let me put in our contact details. So these are our contact details, and I'm mindful of time. So do text us, text either Georgina, Jaime, or I on your questions, and we will get back to you regarding these questions. We do have some questions up right now, so we will cover some of these. A lot of your questions are consultative, as in children's ages, parents' ages. We will be able to take you through a free consultation with Avco Legal, so do contact us for a free consultation where we cover most of your questions, particularly personal questions or questions which are unique to your family and to you. And then we'll also bring you through some of the investments such as funds and properties as well. One of the questions, Antonio, is can I take a loan?
Well, you can take a loan, but for Golden Visa purposes, only above the minimum investment threshold. So if you enter in the 500,000 category, any loan has to be above the 500,000. And if you enter in the 350,000 category, any loan has to be above the 350.
Okay. And another question for you, Jaime, is my child is doing medicine. What are there any courses in medicine in Portugal or in Europe?
Yeah, so the beauty of the Portuguese education system is that there are several degrees that are offered in English only. And the good news for this particular parent is that there is a university that actually offers a medical degree by merely basically fees of less than 10,000 euros per year. And that's something that they can, if they want to study in Portugal, that will be the rate, and they will save a lot of money versus the other countries whereby you will normally need to pay a lot more in terms of for a medical degree. And if the client chooses the citizenship route, then they may also enjoy some of the reduced fees. For example, in Ireland, whereby the University of Trinity normally will cost up to about 25,000 euros just on tuition fees alone for medical degree. But being a EU citizen, you only need to pay about 3,000 administration fees per year.
That's great. Antonio, another question, seeing that there are changes at the end of the year, will we still be able to make it on time?
Yes, but if we start moving now. So whatever decision any interested applicant or future applicant might make, we have to start acting now because we need time to prepare the powers of attorney. You need to get them signed in your home countries. We need to get your bank accounts ready, etc. So all of this preparation, that will take 1 month alone. So again, if you wish to embark on this kind of project, start considering your options before the new rules take effect.
If I may add as well, for our Indonesian clients, because the SKCK, the Sijil Keterangan, is actually a very important document in the whole submission of the Golden Visa. We would like also our clients to confirm soon within the next few weeks so that we can quickly apply for your SKCK. And that's why we have Georgina as well to assist with the legalization of the documents together with the Portuguese embassy. So by the time the bank account is ready, your SKCK also will have been cleared. And I would say that we are very glad to announce that also that so far we have a very good team on board that will be able to assist our clients throughout this entire process and make sure that they can actually beat the respective deadlines.
Okay, so this comes towards the end of our webinar. Many of your questions have been consultative, so we will email you a summary of the presentation today and also cover some of your individual questions. Do reply to the email or text Georgina, Jamie, or I, so we can set up an appointment with Avco Legal for private consultation as well. And have a really good day. We will be following up with you on the emails and also the WhatsApp, and do reach out to us. We hope that this webinar has been informative. The Portugal Golden Visa program is certainly one of the world's most popular alternative residency programs, and whether it is for us and our next generations, we really think that this program is useful, and more so actually the investments underlying it are actually very good investments. We see a lot of potential in Portugal as even in the economy, and we feel that the properties will have a good yield and also a good capital appreciation at the end of the day. Some of the funds as well are tied to properties, and these are also look very positive. So do reach out to us. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you everyone from Indonesia and from Malaysia today. We hope you have a good weekend. Obrigada.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Selamat petang.
Selamat petang. Ciao.